Welcome to the Football Terrace, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button right now. Big show for you this morning. Moving on into the afternoon. Jadon Sancho to Man United. The rumour mill is starting. As ever, I want your views, your opinions. Does Ollie have big January transfer plans? Will Man United make a title push if they are in the race? Again, these are the two stories in relation to Man United that are circulating massively. Also want to speak on today's show about Marcus Rashford. He's on absolute fire. He is proving the doubters wrong time and time again. 12 goals, 5 assists in 20 appearances so far this season is just absolutely astronomical. 17 goal contributions in 20 games. I've also did a bit of study at the moment since how he has performed since Ollie has been the Manchester United manager. It is outstanding. And you've got to remember, he went from being a 21-year-old to 23-year-old in that time period, still in the fledgling years. So we're going to delve into Rashford in a bit more detail. I want to take your calls on him. The link to phone in the show is in our description below, so feel free to do that. Morning, Ian T, one of our members here. Where's that gone? I was about to put him up on the screen. There he is. Ian T, morning, Terry. Looks like you just woke up. What happened to the 5 a.m., 8 a.m. starts? I took a morning off from doing. I just decided not to stream this morning, my bro. I haven't just woke up. Thanks for the compliment. There we go. ENT here says if Sancho is really unsettled at Dortmund, it's likely he'll leave in 2021 before his value starts to drop off. Yes, I mean, he's seasoned so far. Dortmund definitely won the battle in the summer in relation to the next move, the next step, the next moment for Jadon Sancho's career. Of course, in the very, very short term, he stayed at Dortmund, but the performances haven't been there. The outputs haven't been there. The mood hasn't been there. Fans are not back. More money has fallen out of the German game, and they could be very much forced into him leaving for a lower fee, which is hilarious. Listen, go research Betamax versus VHS. Do your actual research on the two companies that own them, and then you'll realize that Betamax didn't lose. Sometimes it's more important to win the war than it is to win the battle. But we'll see what happens in relation to that. Comment here says, afternoon, Terry, although it's evening in my country. It's actually morning still here. But yeah, I hear you, bro. Love your content, bruv. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Listen, Jack and the Headbangers, thank you very, very much. Oh, everyone here is calling iTest deluded. What's iTest saying? Maybe iTest will come on the air and have his say rather than delighting everybody in the chat. ENT here says, Glazers out. Ain't going to happen, but if United sorted its recruitment out and moved Woodward away from footballing decisions, they could challenge again. Again, in the medium to long term, I totally agree with you. So on the Jadon Sancho situation, look, let's just paint it out. We will cover the stories as and when they go out. There is an outside chance Man United could sign him in January. That is doable. That is attainable. That is achievable. Will it happen? That's a completely different conversation. My view is no. I don't think Man United will get it done, the Sancho deal done in January. However, I think there is the possibility for Ollie to make signings in January. I think looking at players such as Ruben Neves, maybe Ndidi, Jack Grealish, there are individuals out there. And if Man United have a good Christmas period, and this is all if buts and maybes, if they have a good Christmas period, I think a further reinforcement to give Ollie some extra firepower, some extra depth as we go into the back end of the season is going to be imperative. And maybe it's not even an attacking role. Maybe it is that centre-back we've been looking for. Maybe you go back in for Upamecano as an example. What, in your opinion, should be Ollie and Man United's January transfer plan? Does it depend, in your opinion, where we sit in the league? What are the key factors that you think should be taken into consideration? I want your calls. No one's called in yet, which is interesting. Normally, you guys are straight on there. Do me a favor and smash that like button. I want to hear from you. On Marcus Rashford, though. On Marcus Rashford. This boy is electric. And I mean this he has been one of the best attacking players in the Premier League now for the last couple of years. And of course, he makes bad decisions. Of course, he misses opportunities. Of course, he isn't perfect. No player in the history of football has been or ever will be perfect. This is a cast iron fact. But Rashford's just been phenomenal. And when you start to study him as a player, his development and growth in the past 2 years, Marcus Rashford has been absolutely impeccable. Impeccable. Let's break this down. 64. That's 64 goal contributions in his last 87 games. That's a 21 to 23-year-old. 64 goal contributions in his last 87 games. And what's an even better study is looking at the minutes played. If you add the minutes together and divide it by 90, it equates to 77 games, because he's had quite a few appearances that have been 5 minutes from the bench, 10 minutes from the bench as an example. It counts as a whole appearance, but of course it isn't a full 90-minute game. If you look at him per 90, 83%. 83% goal return ratio. So it's 64 goals in 77 complete full 90 minutes. It's out of this world. It's out of this world for a 21 to 23-year-old. The level of disrespect put upon Marcus Rashford's name is astronomical. And he's done this, he scored braces, he scored hat-tricks in Champions Leagues in that time period. He's been assisting more goals than before. He's season on season got progressively better in his career. And he's still 2 to 2.5 years away from reaching his peak as a football player. The great advantage Rashford has is the apprenticeship that he's done. The volume of games he's had, the experience he's had, the mistakes he's made are going to set him up massively moving forward. But what we can't get away from is what we're looking at here. 64 goal contributions in his last 77 matches. It's out of this world. It legitimately is out of this world in terms of his performances. The question I'm asking you all here today is, how much better can Marcus Rashford get? Some people think he's hit his ceiling. Is there more progression to come? I want to understand that from your point of view. That is what I want to know from yourselves right now. It's something I'm intrigued by. It's something I'm interested in as an example, because for me, I feel like it's one of those things. It's important, in my opinion, to study this as a young player at Man United, one of the top 6 clubs, who is just progressively moving in the right direction. But I know some of you don't like stats, but when you're a goal scorer and that's one of your main jobs, and goal contributor, I should say, in the modern day game as an inside forward, I think it's massively, massively important. 64, 77 since Ollie took over as well. And it's something that should be a tick in the box for Ollie. If you look at Rashford as a star and you love him, is there enough praise being put on Solskjaer for making him more efficient, more consistent, to keep developing him as an example? I want to hear from you. Lines are open. We're going to get some calls on in just a moment. Let's go to some of your comments that are coming through. I see people talk about Pulisic. Phone in, bro. Terry, how has Rashford improved under Ollie? Well, it's simple to me. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't as bad a coach and as bad a manager as people make out. I'm not saying he's Jurgen Klopp or the new Fergie, but he isn't a PE teacher. The PE teacher phrase is just a hyperbolic, over-exaggerated piece of banter, which is fine. But that's what you've got to compute in your head. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. It's good if Rashford is scoring for England Euros as long as he doesn't score against Liverpool and win the Premier League. I always wanted all English players to do well, only not against Liverpool. And I do understand that train of thought. It's interesting. We had Gav on before from the LFC Day Trippers back in the summer saying how good he was. Shane here says, Terry stating facts. I agree with you. Rivals need to put respect on his name. He's going to be a legend of this club. Do you know what? I think Rashford's got the makeup to become a legend at Man United. Winning more trophies is going to be imperative. What he's doing off the pitch does also help him. What he's doing off the pitch helps Rashford because it endears people to him more. And when people endear to you, they give you more leeway when you have a bad moment. But remember on this channel, only 4 days ago, we had a gal coming on. Oh, Terry, man, we got to talk about Rashford. And he's like, tunnel vision, man. I can't believe it. Like, he just shoots when he wants. It's crazy, man. We got to have the conversation. He doesn't do it enough for me. 83%, bruv. 83% of the games. Jeez. It's absolutely astronomical. Tunnel vision, man. Tunnel vision, man. No. Nonsense. We've got some super chats here. Then we're going to go to our first caller. Universal boss here said it's good that Rashford is scoring for. Oh, no, I've already read that one. Thank you very much, bro, for that. It says, me and my friend were analysing Man United. He's Man United fan. He was talking Rashford is not clinical enough compared to Martial, but he's very good. See, that's where the eye test can let people down. I want to see the conversion rates. So this is where you've got to look at it. Is that a negative or a positive towards Martial? So this is how you equate that. It's a very simple study. You can compare the two of them over, say, a 3-year period. Who has the best conversion rate? Martial's better. It means Martial's better. Martial might have a better conversion rate. But does that mean Rashford's is bad? So you then have to cross-reference Rashford's with other inside forwards who play for top teams in the elite level leagues. Is it within the ballpark? If it isn't astronomically lower than everybody else's, then Martial being better than Rashford makes it a non-debate. It's a brilliant thing for Manchester United that they're both very, very good. But we have this habit of shrinking everything and oversimplifying certain things. Martial's conversion rate is 20%. Rashford's is 15%. Therefore, Rashford isn't clinical enough. But if Rashford's conversion rate is within the standard amount for players in his position in the elite level leagues, then he isn't not clinical enough. Rashford's only not clinical if he's only doing 10% of his chances, and everyone else that plays in his position in the elite level leagues is converting at 25%, 10% margin. Then I'll say, yeah, you've got a point. But nobody ever does the studies. And every time we have someone come on throwing out one of these arbitrary stats without doing their research, they walk away with egg on their face. Remember the one the other day? Rashford doesn't do enough of these 10 things. Is he as good as Mo Salah? No, but yet statistically in all those areas he was on par with Mo Salah. And they just walk away with a little towel between their legs, going, "Oh, I messed up again." Drop the hate for Rashford. He is absolutely top class. He has the ability to move into tier 1 in Premier League stature if he keeps continuing to move in the direction that he is. And it's 64 goal contributions in his last 2 years of football as a 21 to 23-year-old. Outstanding. Get your super chats in, get your comments in, smash the like button. We're going to jump into the calls here. I don't know where he's gone. KJ, hello. Is it me you're looking? Oh, he's back. There he is. He disappeared away from camera. And I was like, KJ, where you at, bro? I miss you. Where you at? We're going to get the boys on. Let's do this. Got KJ here. We've got Kai here as well. KJ, what you saying, bro?
I'm good, fam. I'm good. All this chat about the transfer window, yeah. So let me just switch. That sound better? Yeah, there it is.
There we go. That's proper, bro.
Yeah, listen. This is not Vibes FC, KJ. The captain of Vibes FC. This is not him. This is leader of the Resistance, KJ. This is who it is now. You need to relax on hoping that United are gonna sign some man in January, bro. Like it ain't happening. It ain't. Like these pagans, yeah, ain't looking to spend no peas in January, fam. The only reason we've got Bruno in Jan is because McTominay and Paul Pogba were injured. If they were both fit, we was getting Bruno this summer, fam. That's all it was gonna be. So this January transfer window talk, Jadon Sancho in Jan or Ndidi or whoever in Jan, it is looking peak for us, bro. It is. It just is what it is.
Yeah, do you know what? I hear you on that, and I think that, as I said, we're going to cover the stories when they're in the media. But I honestly, I would love Sancho to come in January. Of course, I would, but I can't see it happening. The only way I see any transfer going down this January is if Paul Pogba leaves in the other direction. If the club get an offer so the club get offered something they can't refuse. You know, they get the horse's head in their bed. So Godfather reference, Prime, if you're watching. I bet you've not watched The Godfather. Jesus. You know he hasn't watched The Godfather. Jeez. If we get an offer we can't refuse, then I agree. I think that we could sell him, but then only if there's a replacement. But knowing our owners, we'll take the money and then just not replace him and say it's okay. We're going to call back James Garner or something like that. Would be a Glazer move, which would be frustrating. Absolutely. In terms of Marcus Rashford as well, I know we spoke briefly about him on last night's show. I mean, I was doing some study into him this morning. 64 goals in 77 appearances. That's if you add all the minutes together and divide it by 90, because of course it's hard to judge someone when they make a 10-minute substitution here or they play sort of 15 minutes. You look at it that way. It's 77 full games he's played since Ollie's been here, and in those 77 full games, he scored or assisted 64 goals. That's out of this world, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I said this to Aaron yesterday, and I'll say it again. People need to accept Marcus Rashford for what he is. As simple as that. Simple as that. He's not perfect. He's not the player to be. I don't even know how to describe it. He the way he dribbles. It's not like a Hazard. It's not like Pulisic, but he still dribbles forward and he still bursts past players. As I said yesterday, man retired Jagielka, fam. He had to get hooked off because he couldn't be playing against him. The eye test was saying, he doesn't dribble enough, he doesn't create enough. Man went out on a dribble and set up Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
He went on multiple dribbles that game, which some of them resulted in a chance, some of them resulted in him getting tackled. But he was doing what he does, which is receive the ball, take on a man, take on two man, try and cut inside to find the shot or the pass. That's what Marcus Rashford is. When you give him less time, he will probably finish the chance better than you give him more time. That's just who he is. He's more instinctive. That's just who he is. Do we want him to develop more into a more complete footballer? Yes. Do we want him to see more elegance in his game? Yes. But at 23 years old, what he's doing right now, it's enough. It is enough because he's doing his part.
Yeah,
he is. And do you know what? I'll go in a sec, KJ. If every player was delivering to that degree in their position for Man United, we'd be top of the league. If every player was performing to Rashford's consistency, by the way, consistency is a 21 to 23-year-old. And that cannot be discounted because at the moment, primarily, you see him getting compared to Mane's and Salah's, and rightfully so, because they're the best in the business in the Premier League. These men are in their late 20s. What were they doing between 21 and 23? They weren't delivering at an elite level club like Rashford's doing. And this is what gets discounted from Marcus all the time. And I find it embarrassing for people. They don't want to, as you say, they don't want to accept what he is. They attack him over ridiculous means. And you don't hear people say bad things about him in the sense of how many pros at the moment, who's the hardest player you've been up against? You know, who do you watch out for? Who inspires you? Now, the Mbappes and the Sanchos as well, they nearly always mention Rashford. You speak to the England players, who's the hardest to defend against? Who do you not like going one-on-one against in the England camp? Rashford. Yet all these footballers love him. The professionals rate him. His goal-scoring ratio is out of this world. He's still very, very young. But people just want to... I think it literally is. Because he's not as good as Mbappe, people want to have a go at him. Like we said earlier, well, he's not as clinical as Martial. Martial's better than him. But is his conversion rate bad? I haven't done any research into it, but I'm just going to say it's bad because it serves my agenda. It's crazy. I mean, Kai, you're a neutral watching. We're going to go to you in a second. Ray here says Rashford, one of the best strikers in the world. Even on a bad day, he makes things happen. He's only 23. He's a £200 million player. The guy is amazing. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's a £200 million player, but he's certainly 150 mil.
Can I just address the comment quickly as well?
Yeah.
For a man like Ultra, it says I was slated Roy Keane as a footballer. No, I wasn't actually. If you actually watch that video back, I said he's the greatest Premier League captain ever. I said he's one of the Man United legends. What I was doing was being team petty, and because I don't like him as a person and as a pundit, man said what I said. And that's all it was. People need to separate these things, fam. Relax, man. Roy Keane's a great footballer. Was a great footballer.
He's obviously Sorry, he's obviously created a new account. We're going to go to you in a minute, Kai. But first, we've got man like Safe in the house. His nipples are away, so he can stay on the stream for now. Look at the
I'm
smile.
honored to be in the same chat as you, Safe.
Hi, Safe. What do you want to say?
Hey, hi guys. Well,
You know what's really
I'm
weird
really
though about
disappointed with Manchester United
go on.
recently.
why? Why are you disappointed recently?
So go ahead.
No, you speak. Why are you disappointed?
Well, because we lost the Champions League semi, the group stage, and I blame Oli for this because he didn't play 4-5-1 system. He didn't control the midfield, and we lost the game. We just needed the point to qualify. Every single manager we have failed all the time. For me, I'm buying Manchester United kids, and I could show you as a proof. Just bear with me for 1 minute. I could show you how much.
Where are we going? We're going for a walk around safe. We're gonna find dead bodies, isn't it? 100%.
I hope it's not gonna get the channel monetized, demonetized.
Oh no,
Safe, what are you doing?
Wait, he's making sure the screen is black, so we can't see the bodies and...
Safe, you better not be taking your clothes off.
nah, he's taking us to the dungeon, isn't it? Like,
I'm putting you backstage, Safe, until I know what's coming. Because hang on a minute, he's back again with another account. That one's locked him off.
Gee,
wait.
happened often, Terry.
He's back. Here we go.
Sorry, I don't know what happened here. I'm buying Manchester United kit. Look at the money I'm spending for my team. How do I change the camera?
No, don't change it. Say it's fine. It's fine.
I'm spending 70 pounds. I have 4 or 5 kits of Manchester United, and we're not performing on the pitch.
What?
And I'm
why
really,
is
really
that?
upset with this.
Yeah, what?
Because I don't club.
This is what I mean. Leader of Resistance Cage right here. Why, bro? Why are you spending peas on this club if they're making you upset?
I love them. I just want my club to be successful. I want my club to go back to the 99 era, the 08 era. But I'm not saying that. I'm really, really angry. I feel really annoyed.
No, I feel your pain
against Leipzig.
I feel your pain, Safe. But
I mean, what more can I do? Because I love my football club. I want to spend money. I want my team to be top 88, like the 1990.
Yeah, I understand.
How can my team be like
What you should do, you should spend
if we have a bad manager.
You should spend that money on super chats at the football terrace.
Yeah, listen, Safe. I understand why you love United and you want us to be the best. But right now, in my personal opinion, you shouldn't be spending money on the club because they don't love you back. They're not giving you anything back for you to say I should be spending money on them.
Yeah.
It's like a cheating girlfriend, man.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, it does. It sounds like you're in a toxic relationship with Manchester United, Safe, where you're spending your peas, you're spending your money, you're taking the club out for dinner, you're buying cinema tickets, and then you come home every Friday after a hard week at work, and there she is. She's with James. James is your best friend, and she's like gagging, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's how Man United are treating you. But instead of you saying, right, James, you're not my friend anymore, you're blocked out.
I still love you.
You're not breaking up with the girl. You're sitting there watching, going, oh, it's okay. I'll just watch it happen. Does anyone want a cup of tea when you're finished? That's what you're doing, Safe. You're cucking here. You're being a cuckold for Man United. You get what I'm saying, bruv? You got to stand up.
Okay.
Stop spending your money on the club, bruv, and then you'll feel better. You'll feel better.
It's freeing, fam. It's freeing.
I have one opinion. I want to make a suggestion. Am I allowed to say it?
Go on.
Depends what it is.
Okay.
It depends what it is. Terry, go.
No. They said that if Manchester United don't finish within top 4 team, they wouldn't qualify for Champions League. So the sponsors wouldn't get money. Is that my question is, well, why can't the sponsors?
Go to the door. I want to know is at your door, bruv. I want to know.
Okay.
Turn the camera around.
Go fuck it up. My question is, why can't the sponsors say that? Listen, if you don't get 70 points, we wouldn't give you the money.
Well, they kind of do to a degree.
If you don't finish within, why?
They do.
Why? Why is that?
They do. Say if they do. Go open your door, please. I want to know that your front door. I'm intrigued. It's probably Amazon.
You need to give him his own show, Terry.
safe.
For the
Listen,
past
bro,
7 years,
thank you for
we
coming on,
haven't-
having your say, mate. I appreciate a lot of what you've said there. Look, I get where he's coming from, but man needs to stop spending his money. That's why people stay angry, innit? Because they keep pumping their money in. They they pay for the membership, the season tickets, the merchandise. You know, a friend of mine, I just see a post of his he put out. His kids are all young, so they won't get it. Man spent £500 in the Man United megastore for Christmas presents for his kids, like kits and balls and everything. And he's like, I spent this money. You better give us a good Christmas, Man United. It's like that's not the thing is. That isn't how the relationship works. For me, it's a case of you either spend your money willingly and you're happy whether they win or lose because you're supporting your club regardless, or if you don't like how they run things, stop spending your money. You can't. Too many fans live in this in between where they're like, "Well, I've spent £100 on a kit, so if you don't win a game, I'm going to explode at you." It's like, that's not what supporting a football club is, bruv. You either buckle yourself in for the whole ride and accept it, or you kind of get out a little bit, like I've done. Like I don't spend my money on a club, not because we're not winning, because I don't like how we're run, and I just can't get away from it. Kai, you were going to say something earlier, bro. What were you going to say, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to say things that are very pro United. Well, not very pro United, more like pre Oli. I was looking at. Obviously, you know this in the chat, right? I'm very passionate about this subject as well.
Yeah, you are.
It's Oli. Oli is doing actually pretty damn good compared to the other new managers. Has like something like a win rate of 57 compared to Lampard's 49, and being backed by 220 to 230 million less, something ridiculous, man. Well, your attackers in Rashford, Greenwood, all these guys are looking like they're improved, you know. And you know, say what you want about Ole, he inherited a mixture of different teams, right? A mixture of different managers' ideas. Yet he combined a system that works for them, for those players. And right now, from all the crap that United will be getting, and all this hype about Chelsea, all this hype about City, and United are 1 point away, one game off from being 4 points above the great savior Lampard. And when you look at social media and you look at the media itself, all the talk is what's his name? Ole should be sacked. Ole is sacked. Ole is sacked. This man has more games, higher win rate than Lampard. And even if you cut it based on the same amount of games that they played, Ole would still be 61%, where Lampard would be 50%. And people have the audacity to and it's unfair to Ole, and that's the only reason I'm saying it's because it's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy.
Kai,
and it's not fair, man.
Let's be honest. The only reason you're saying this because it fits your agenda that Lampard's not good enough.
But is what I'm saying true or not? Is it backed by stats?
No, it is true. I'm for it.
Bro. You know me, man. I'm real. I don't try to cut corners and whatever. I come to you with stats. If you accept it, you accept it. The fact of the matter is, Ole has been treated unfairly. He doesn't have the backing. He doesn't have a competent board like Lampard has. Yet he achieved more. His vision, I can see the type of football that he starts to play, and he's getting more. He's getting more from the players that he already inherited.
You want to know something interesting? Hi, Amir. I hope you're well, mate. Where did you just drink? Do you know what I find interesting about the whole thing, right? Is this system thing. All clubs, like Pep has a system that works, whether you interchange a player or not. Klopp has a system that works, whether you interchange a player or not. I remember last year, Wilder has a system and Ole doesn't. It's interchangeable, and it doesn't matter who's in, who's out. The facts don't back that up. So I was listening to some Sheffield United fans talk after the game, and they're all saying they love Wilder. But the reason it isn't working for them this season is because Connolly's out, and their overlapping centre-back thing doesn't work without Connolly because the replacement for him are not good enough to execute the plan. And I just thought that's so interesting because rivals look at it like when you've got a system, anybody can step in and play. People say, oh, you look at Jurgen Klopp. He's got injuries, but people step in and his system still works. Does it? Their start to the season is nearly 30% worse because, and a lot.
Weren't these the same Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, the midfield don't work without Jordan Henderson"? So which one is it?
Exactly, and that's my point, bro. But this isn't an attack at Liverpool fans here. So Liverpool fans, please don't cry after me saying that. I'm not having a go at you. You guys have all said you're not as good at the back without Virgil van Dijk. You're not. Your system doesn't work as well when you don't have your best goalkeeper in. All systems fall down when your high-level players are missing. It's a simple and utter fact. And there isn't a team in the world who performs as well over a consistent body of time with a lack of quality or with them or their big stars out. We've seen it this year with Liverpool. They've lost a large number of their stars, and they are 27% worse in terms of points yield compared to last year. They're still the best team in England, but it isn't like if it was all about system and anyone could step into the void and look brilliant and do a great job, they'd be about the same as they were last year. But there's been a drop off. City, since Aguero's been out injured, David Silva's gone, Company with his ability and his leadership have left the club. They just haven't been as good. And they've got Pep Guardiola, the ultimate system manager of the last 15 years. It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy that's created by fans that, system. We want a manager who has a system that works. Poch has a system. Yeah. Did Poch's teams do as well when Harry Kane was out injured or not? Did the striker coming in for Harry Kane score as many goals when Harry Kane was injured? Or no, they didn't, because it ain't about the system. Partly it's a system, but it's the quality of personnel that sits in there. Football fans have got to realize it's an element of system, it's an element of tactics, and it's an element of individual brilliance from players. It's those three components that go into it. What fans try to do, though, is they try to overstate certain elements and underplay others, depending on the agenda. Like with Ollie, when we play well, we disregard system and style and tactics. It's all about individual brilliance. When it goes wrong, we take away individual responsibility and it becomes a lack of system and a lack of process. It's just, listen, it's good for banter, it's good for vibes, but everybody with a brain sees through it. I call these people Window FC because they're transparent, bruv. Let's go to Amir for a second. Amir, what you saying, bro?
Yo, first and foremost, I just want to say, big up the football terrace, man. I am loving the way this show is evolving from back in the day when Terry was doing his lonely strolls through the streets of London, doing his car cams, to what it is now. Madness, absolute madness.
Appreciate that, brother.
Now, obviously, a big United fan. I've been watching you for a while now, and I caught the show after the game yesterday, and a lot of the critics, not critics, but a lot of the thing that was put towards Ollie is the mentality of the team isn't quite there yet. The mentality seems to be the biggest hurdle for us to overcome. And personally, I feel that's a little bit unfair to say, because you have to have an elite mentality to pull off the record that he's got on away games. Yes, the home form isn't great yet. Yes, we have got a couple of steps before we can get to that 21 title contention yet. But for us to question his mentality when he keeps coming back from games, when he keeps doing it away from home, time and time again, he's broke records. He's the only manager who's won 4 games in a row with a 3-goal margin, I believe. Like, these are things that you can't achieve without an elite mentality. So for me, I just think to keep giving that criticism to him about the mentality isn't there, and it's not totally fair. I think there should be question marks more of the personnel themselves and why they're dropping the ball, why they're having brain farts. And I don't think, if you look at, say, someone who's lauded for their mentality, it would be Klopp. They all call them mentality monsters in the media. And come on, like, how many brain fart moments do you see from their kind of players? Titans, like, where Van Dijk will get turned and he's the best, or like Karius having his brain fart moments in the biggest games. Like, these kind of things happen. It's normal, but it doesn't put a question mark over the winning mentality of that squad or team, in my opinion. Anyway, I just wanted to see how you guys felt about that, because that's one thing I heard from yourself, Neeks, a few of the guys on the show last night.
Yeah, no, you're right in sense of, can we fully blame Ollie for the mentality thing? When we were saying it last night, I think we were more. I know my stuff was more thinking about the players, why they do, because I feel like the players, a collective, have weak mentalities, which the manager can control so far. Like, you can get to a point, but if on the pitch they crumble, what more can the manager do? So I think you're right in that aspect. One thing I will question Ollie is on the mentality thing is, how are you affecting these guys' mentality to stay sharp, to stay focused at the start of games? Like, to make comebacks, we've praised Ollie for his halftime team talks to make these comebacks in the second half. That kind of mentality is good, but where's the mentality to start games well? And that's where our question Ollie is, like, how are you, if you know these players are like this, how are you then affecting them? How are you then talking to them to get them to be solid from the start and then build forwards? That's all I'm asking. But in terms of like what you're saying about the players, yeah, you're right. The players' mentality is atrocious at the start of the game. We need to sort that out.
Yeah, I get that, but what I'd say is, what is Ollie doing for the mentality? I'd say look at a player who seems like Martial, for example, he's one guy that everyone used to say never smiles, doesn't have any emotion, no expression. Look at his body language. He has had just broke his duck after God knows how many games in the Premier League. But look at his body language. He's always looking for them runs. He's always playing on the back of the shoulder. His movement looks much better, and he looks much happier in the shirt. Even someone like Pogba, who's had all the criticism in the world, had the media on his back, had all sorts of crap going on. He's still putting in performances. So for me, that's Ollie doing his job to the best of his ability, in my opinion. Obviously, we don't see what goes on behind closed doors. And to be honest, we was, I suppose, only seeing parts of it when Jose was in charge, when we saw the training ground bust up that they had when they was giving them dirty looks to each other, etc., etc. But for me, I personally think Ollie's doing a great job, and I just want to see a manager be able to run the length of his contract without this constant, he's going to get sacked after a run of 2 bad games or 3 bad games. And for me, it's just not conducive to building towards a winning team, even if it is or isn't under Ollie. It's just not what we need.
May I ask you this question? Whose fault is that?
What specifically? What? Whose fault? Who's at fault for what exactly?
Whose fault is it that we have an atmosphere at the club where managers can't see out their contract, and after 2 games the fella doesn't get sacked? Whose fault is that?
Oh, that's the resistance and its size right there, mate. That is.
Oh, hey, come on now, yes.
Bruv. You listen, Amir. Thank you very much for coming on, having your say, mate. Really do appreciate that.
Right.
Thank you. Next up, we've got Gabriel. Man's got his camera on. I always go to the camera users first. What you saying, brother?
Hi, Terry. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm very good. Yourself?
I'm very, very well. I'm calling from South Africa. I just want to say I enjoy your show and listening to you guys' conversation. I just want to say a few things about Ole.
Yeah, go for it, brother. Go for it.
I think he receives too much disrespect, because if you actually look objectively at his time as the manager, and you take the time, you take the time that he was temporary manager, you take the time where the form dipped towards the end of the season when he received the permanent managerial, then you take the time pre-Bruno. Remember that period, we had no Pogba. Pogba was injured, and he had to rely on McTominay, Fred. Rashford was basically his best player in that time period. Martial was probably his most improved player between him and McTominay. Then Martial has an injury, and then the injury was about 2 months. Then he has to play a player that he bought for 15 million, whom he initially thought, this guy's got speed, I'm going to use him as a substitute. So he ends up having to play Dan James the entire season, basically using a team that is bare in its resources. And the style in which he openly said, when he had the temporary position, United should be playing like the 208 model, fast, incisive football, quick counter-attack, using our wings, transitioning from the back to the front fast players that put you on the edge of your seat, one-touch incisive football. That is Ollie ball. And then what you ended up seeing, because we didn't have that attacking emphasis, we didn't have midfielders that could break up the play, we then retreated into a more defensive system because of the injuries, like I was saying. And then you get a player like Bruno. You get some players in teams that activate a system. Like Liverpool were doing well until they got Van Dijk. Van Dijk activated their system, meaning their midfielders could push a bit higher. Although their midfielders are not creating, they're putting pressure on the opposition. Their wings could attack higher. Their left back and their right back could attack higher because they've got a defender there who is good one-on-one, who can marshal and is like a talisman. Now, when Bruno comes in, number 10 in Ollie's system is so important. When Pogba was doing well, he was playing that number 10 role. He had Herrera and Matic. But then when Bruno comes, Bruno activated his system. This quick, incisive, counter-attacking football, where you take risks, you play on the counter. I don't understand why people hate counter-attack. Sir Alex Ferguson was one of the greatest counter-attacking managers. Yes, there were times where we showed our class by controlling possession because of the players we had, but majority of the games, if you watch the big games under Sir Alex Ferguson, were counter-attack. Wenger was more your Pep Guardiola type of coach, but Ferguson was more like a Klopp in terms of counter-attacking. Klopp is also was a counter-attacking manager until he got the players that he attained. Now we look at this season. The season starts. There's no preseason. We can look at the end of season last year as a failure because we came to 4 semi-finals. We got no trophy. But look at it objectively. We came into 3 semi-finals. Remember, we were a team that was on the down from Jose Mourinho. We enter 3 semi-finals. There is progress in that sense. Yes, we don't win those semi-finals, but there's progress.
I appreciate a lot of what you've said is interesting. The commenters and the viewers watching really like it. I mean, how much longer do you think Ollie needs, and what do you think is required to push them on to that next level now, challenging for titles, challenging for trophies? What needs to happen from the club for that to be possible?
Now, this is what I will say. I will hang my opinion. I would even put money on it. You give Ollie 1 more season, he will win the title. And this is wait, listen to what I'm saying. You look at 2 things. Look at every player that he's recruited. Look at every player that he's desired. He's wanted a Sancho. Why? He wants an attacking right winger who will open up spaces. He wanted a Haaland. Why? Because he wants a striker that is a killer, that is ruthless. Why are we always looking for a striker? Yes, he's happy with Martial, but he wants competition. Remember, Ollie was in a system where he was bought. When he was bought as a French player, and then he became the star player. And then Ferguson recruits York. He recruits more strikers, and all of a sudden he has to fight for a position. So that is what he's used to. That is what he's been accustomed to. And so he wants the same for Martial. He wants the same for Rashford. He loves Rashford, but he wants a Sancho type player to come, not to stabilize them, but to bring an even greater competition. Now you look at the defense. People ridicule our defense. Yes, our defense is not doing well. Our defense lacks pace, and so we are playing 2 defensive-minded midfielders to accommodate them. If he gets that defender, it doesn't have to be Van Dijk. It just has to be a defender that can complement either Maguire or Lindelof. It can even be a bench defender who will put pressure on them. I'm telling you, we are closer to winning the league than people actually assume. If you take from January to this period,
Gabriel, I ask you this question though. I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. If we get this, if we get that. Do you really trust this board to get what's needed, though?
KJ.
I'm telling you, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been there,
the board will listen,
out of all the managers we've had, out of all the managers, from Moyes to Mourinho, Ole is the only manager out of all of them that has unilateral support from the board. We can say in June he never received Sancho. He wanted this 100 million player in January. He never received Haaland. He wanted Haaland. If you look at each of those circumstances, firstly, 120 million was way too much for Sancho. What Dortmund were wanting for Sancho in the past, we were saying we are being ripped by paying such high prices. Now, when the board wants to change it, we are not allowing the club to evolve. We are not allowing the manager to get his work done. Each manager knows he needs about 3, maybe 2.5 seasons to actually have their team, not just their starting 11, their squad. Pochettino.
I'm not talking about the manager, bro. I'm not talking about the manager. I asked you about the board.
But look at the board. Okay, let's look at the board. We can say whatever, but in the summer period, we signed 4 players: Cavani, Pellistri. Just wait, KJ. Just wait. Cavani, Pellistri.
I'm waiting.
Okay, Cavani, Pellistri. Who else did we sign? Donny van der Beek.
Mm-hmm.
And whom else? Amad Traore, who subject to a permit we will receive in January, and Tellez. Immediately, people will say that window is unsuccessful. I'm telling you, that was a successful window. We have added squad depth. Maybe they weren't just wait. We've added squad depth. Look at the runs Rashford is making. Rashford is learning of Cavani. Greenwood will be learning of Cavani. There's wisdom. Cavani is one of the most prolific strikers over the last 10 years. Yes, he's tailed like most players in their mid 30s, but there's a lot of invaluable wisdom that they can glean from him in terms of as a striker. You look at Telles. I'm telling you, Shaw's game has improved since we've brought Telles. Yes, Donny van der Beek is on the bench, but there's no surprise. Fred's game has improved. Pogba's suddenly on the bench. Pogba has to fight for his position. Ever since Pogba's coming back into the team, he's playing much better. Why? Because just the mere thought that there is somebody on the bench who is pumping at the trumps to come on. Yes, Donny hasn't received the amount of minutes that we desire, but wait till the end of the season. You will see he would have played enough minutes. But what I'm saying is, give the manager his time. Give him one more window where he will maybe purchase 4 players.
Yo,
right?
Listen, bro, amazing call. Thank you for coming on and having your say, giving us, telling us what you think and feel. We'll definitely get you on again soon, mate. Take care.
God bless you, Terry.
Thank you, my brother. Listen,
Bye-bye.
viewers, do you agree? Give Ollie more time. Gabriel thinks he's 1 more year away from winning the Premier League title.
You know what's funny, Terry?
Smash that like button, hit that share button for us, please. It's really important too. We're going to add Jem, we're going to add Ram to this stream as well. Go on, Kai.
You know what's funny? If this guy in this voice and tone tells me to rob a bank, man, I'll consider it, man. The guy is just fascinating to listen to. You know what I mean?
He was a great caller. Absolutely, a great caller.
There's this comment here saying, it's not. Listen, it's not the players I'm worried about. You said it there. We're 2-3 signings away. You really trust these men who run our club to get those 2-3 signings correct?
That's what I was about to say. That's why I come on.
This is my issue with the whole argument. Yeah. It's nothing to do with the give the manager time. Enough to do with we've got the great play. We've got good players. We've got a good squad.
Yeah.
It's about doing what we need to do to elevate to that level in terms of the board buying the players we need and getting the correct players. If we sign 2-3 players, it don't automatically mean we're going to win the title just because we signed the 2-3 players in the positions that we need. They also have to be good. And I do not trust these men to bring in the right players.
And I hear you on that, KJ. That I can't. It's not even an Ollie thing. It isn't a player thing for me. Like we say, it's a complete over. It's the complete mentality of the club from inside out to go through that. But there are players that we do have quality players at Man United. And when individuals are performing at the rates that Rashford has been, when they're performing at the rate that Bruno has been, and look at the last 3 games for Paul Pogba as an example. He's been maligned. Last 3 games, if 3 more players in the team were performing at his level, we win those matches, no problem. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, what we need at Man United is for 4 or 5 players to all be at that level at the same time. It's what's made Liverpool so good for 2.5, 3 years, is that in every match, there's 5, 6 of them balling out, carrying the rest. And that's normal. And it'll switch between individuals throughout those games. United, it's too often just 1 or 2 guys that are playing well. Everybody else in the dungeons. We've got Ram and Jem that have joined us. What do you boys want to say?
No, I agree with what KJ. This is what I come on to say. I mean, Jadon Sancho news is back. That's great. Do you really trust your ball to go out and get the job done? That's the thing. And I just don't know. Don't know if they're going to do that.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Go on.
If you had the support of the Chelsea board at Manchester United, do you think Ole can win the league?
Yes. You know why I say yes? Because I didn't even think Ole would even be there. I genuinely think that if we had your board with our resources and at the size of our club, we would win the league, but I don't think it would be a Ole. They would probably have got rid of him by now and got him the manager.
The biggest problem with Manchester United, other than the board, is the lack of inconsistency within the squad. If you look at the recent results, it's nothing to do with the talent that's in the squad. You guys have talent. You guys do have talent in the squad. It's just that their lack of inconsistency in games and levels where they should be winning games goes against you. And that's where you always fall short, because people like Maguire lose a lack of concentration. AWB, Luke Shaw. Pogba
Yeah.
doesn't turn up.
So do we,
Like,
though, Jim. So do we. We're more inconsistent than they do.
this is
according
not
to
look,
stats.
this is not about Chelsea. I know you hate Lampard, but let's talk about.
I
Man
don't
United,
hate
bro.
him. He's just a failure of a manager, man. That doesn't mean I hate the man. He's just not very good.
That's fair enough.
Where's all this Glazer love coming from? And defense.
Where's the Glazer love?
It's sickening.
You know where it comes from?
It's sickening.
Where it
What?
comes from is that we're one win away from going second in the league and being 2 points behind Liverpool. And I said it in the group chat earlier when we talked about Sarri and how his win percentage, only Jose had a better win percentage. You look at that second Jose season where he comes second at Man United. What frustrates fans is the barometer is sometimes different. So that year, City got 100 points and we finished 20 odd points behind them. Man United's season wasn't bad, but it was in comparison. It's like this, right? A man who's 6'2" is pretty tall, right?
Yeah.
But not next to a man who's 7.5 foot tall. He's short.
Yeah.
Sometimes about perspective, and you have to, and we as fans are awful at that. And I know I'm not, we're reactionary. It's, we're 20 points off the top. Yeah, because City did something that was just astronomical. If we'd have carried on with that Jose plan, given him what he wanted, kept him happy, let him buy and sell who he wants for a minute, take all your emotion out of it as a fan, we may have continued to progress and have won the league by now. Maybe we would have been the team to overtake City when they dipped. Because remember, if City's level from that season hadn't have dropped, Liverpool wouldn't have won the league last year because they didn't achieve 100 points. Teams always dip, and it's, are you placed then to pounce when they do? Like in boxing, like there'll come a day where the best middleweight, the best heavyweight isn't the best anymore. Are you ready and in the right position to pounce when the opportunity strikes? That is the big question. Now, imagine being a 100-meter sprinter. Like 4 years ago, I can't beat Usain Bolt, so I'm going to stop trying. Yeah, but Usain Bolt's going to retire soon. What about when he's done? What about when he dips? Yeah, I can't be bothered. I want to beat him now or never. It's a dumb mentality. It's about looking medium to long term. But as fans, we never want to think medium to long term. It's all about, I want it now. Narcissism and instant gratification. It's literally the sugar that is rotting the teeth of this world. It really is. We're going to throw Alfie on. Alfie's in the background. Alfie, what are you saying, bro?
What's happening, Terry? How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Loving the show. I just thought, look, man, this is my first time coming onto the show, but you know, one of the things that I wanted to say, I think I know you guys' opinion, yeah. But 2 days ago, I got one of my guys who's an Ollie out. He's a big Ollie out, the biggest Ollie out you could, brother. Yeah, doesn't matter what. Yesterday when the back pass went wrong, he was just like, yeah, that's Ollie's fault. Yeah, and this big fridge and all of this business, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Listen, before the game, you know, the day everyone got their draw and Chelsea took an L and everything, yeah? I had a crazy thing go through my head. I said to myself, you know what? The way the maths is looking right now, yeah? You know, Man United have this tendency, and I'm sorry for making the comparison with Fergie era, yeah? But you know how Man United have this tendency, in January, they come good. In January, they go on this sick run, unbeatable. Do you know what I mean? Just like mad 10, 15, 16 games unbeaten. Like, you know, I heard, what's that guy on Sky Sports? He was like, that's title-winning form. And I'm just like, yeah, that is title-winning form. That's correct. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, yeah? It's correct, the title-winning form, yeah? And I thought to myself, wait, I'm looking at the table and I'm thinking, hold on. If we win this game tomorrow, yeah, with Sheffield Wednesday, and we win our game in hand, we're 2 points behind whoever's going to be top of the table. And I swear to you, it's December. And we haven't had a position like this, since, I swear to you, I don't know when. I think it was 2013. 2012, 2013, Fergie, the last Fergie season. You know what this season reminds me of? You know that Chicharito season where he was all scoring headers backwards and that into the goal, and it was just like we were just winning every game, yeah? Everyone was shit. Every team was terrible that season, and we won it just because we were consistent. And I'm thinking, all right, yeah, you've got all your little teething problems here and there, yeah? Fine, you kind of figured it out. Yesterday, I saw the lineup, and I was like, boom, that looks like that's the strongest lineup I've seen this season. How is it the first time I'm looking at all three top guns at the front? Yeah, you know, and then we got Pogba and Bruno playing together. And I thought, what? No McTominay, no Fred. I was like, I don't know. This is a bit risky, you know, like the back four might be a bit exposed. These two guys go forward and all of that business. But now look at our position. We got one win away. Where are we? 2 points behind them guys up there with the 19 titles. You're trying to get us and all of that business, yeah? Listen, I believe in this hashtag 21 is coming. I understand. I understand you guys' reservations about, you know what, what's his face, Ollie might not have the same character, and I get it. You need that character. You need to walk up into the dressing room, like Roy Keane said. Like sometimes Fergie would go into the dressing room. He wouldn't even bring out a hairdryer. He'd just look at him, and just be like disappointed, and that's gonna make you go out into the second half and be like, no, I can't let this man down. And I get it. Ollie doesn't have that same personality. I get it. I understand. But look at what my man has achieved so far. And you know what that guy from South Africa saying, that brother from South Africa, he's got some serious analytics up here, yeah? He's like, yeah, imagine if I know you're talking about the board. But look at, without the backing, if we're 2 points behind, imagine we got 2 other signings, at least 2 more signings. What's your proposition on that?
Do you know what? I think he makes some great points here. What I will say is this: the Christmas period for 21 is coming is going to be absolutely imperative. Man United have a good Christmas, so we get level. We forget where we are in the league. How many points we've got? If over the Christmas period we don't drop more points and all that kind of title rivals. So let's just say everybody averages 10 points. If we average 10 and we go into the new year, 2-3 points off the top with that game in hand, it could be game on. But maybe that's what Man United need. And what I will say is this: maybe that good Christmas period is the injection of belief that these players and even the manager need to say, actually, we can do this, because so much of it is mental. The mentality monster thing that Liverpool have is they know they can win. And I said this, I did it when we previewed on this channel a long time ago now, the Champions League final. I remember I didn't speak about the game, and I remember getting so much hate from Liverpool and Spurs fans in the comments. Like, Terry, you've done a whole preview on the Champions League, but you haven't spoke about formation, tactics, this, that, and the other. Who is going to win? All you spent is time saying which team's going to crumble if they lose, because that was the most important element for me. Either Spurs or Liverpool, after losing that Champions League final, were going to fall apart with the current regime. And it happened. I mean, it literally happened like clockwork. Spurs lost, and they were never the same team again after that. They could never recover. And I think for Man United, this Christmas period could be that pivotal moment where if it goes wrong and we lose three of the 4 games, I think it's done. But if we could win all of the games and maybe even go into the start of the season top, start of the new year top, Liverpool maybe drop a point or 2.
Alfie, that's the question. Yeah.
And then hashtag 21 is coming. It's going to be trending like a mofo.
What would it take for me? You said if we got 2 signings in, obviously I have to believe that those 2 signings are correct for the team and fit what we're trying to do. That's the only caveat. But if we get these 2 signings in and they fit and they're perfectly fine. But okay, this is what I mean. For me, by the end of March, this is how I don't trust this club. You know, I love this club, but also I'm just like, I don't know. But if by the end of March, the vibes are flowing and we still need towards the top, you know what I'm like with the gas. I will gas the thing all the way to the top, fam, and say we'll win the league. Yeah, but it gets to be by March, fam.
But here's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. In Jan, listen, and I was telling my boy this. I said to him, listen, bro, you know, even Ollie has a record in January. He comes good. Yeah, he took a 2-0 L to like Burnley or whatever, and that's when my man turned. He turned into a Troops. Straight turned into Troops. It's like, Ollie out. Oh, this guy's on PE teacher and all of this and whatever. Blah. And I'm like, listen, bro, you just leave it out, bro. Yeah. But even Ollie has this record of in January, end of January, mid-January, he comes good and goes on some run. And he accumulates more points, or has done in the last 2 years. Let's go off facts, has done in the last 2 years than any of the other top 6. Where you're just like, bro, how come you didn't find this in September? Where'd you? But
you know what? There's also a caveat as well. I don't think people are like spoken about this enough. Because the season started so late, and because the season's the way it is, we're only 12 games, 13 games in. We're not only what's happening now is like, because we're so used to it being normal, by Christmas time we've played around 19 games, and you can start to see who's breaking away for the top. We're in the Christmas period, but we're only about to reach 15, 16 games. And I think people like are still in this mindset of when Christmas done, we can see. Because the way the season is, it's actually by the end of January. That's where we will see.
But I think the Christmas period is pivotal because of the types of teams. It's Leeds, Leicester on Boxing Day, and then I think it's Aston Villa.
It's the accumulation of points. That's what it is.
they're tough games. If you add 9 points to our total, then it's the game in hand as well. We're lucky. Our game in hand is Burnley, and I'm not discarding them because I'm not going to do any gal and be like, why the hell, man? Would I be scared of Burnley, man? Oh my God. Burnley got what, man? Brexit FC. Hashtag I ain't scared. But like, I'll pay them respect. But it's much better than imagine if the game in hand was away at Liverpool or something. You would look at that as we might get something. It's for me, it's almost a banker. It's a coupon buster. It's a 3-pointer, and that's where even our rivals would be worried. The biggest thing I'd say is this as well. I was talking to KJ about this off air the other day. I think I might mention it last night. Gunwood and ice cold Anthony Martial haven't kicked in yet. They haven't started, and we know they're top talent. If Martial could click now for 2-3 months, if Greenwood has a back end of the season like he had last year, that could also be hugely pivotal for Man United, because at the moment we've mainly been relying on Bruno and Rashi for the goals. Start throwing them two into the mix, and honestly, hashtag 21 is coming.
Imagine the smoke. That is just.
I know.
And imagine how long is our defense going to be this bad? I mean, bro, I sometimes I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, like, it can't get any worse. And I hope it doesn't.
You got Lindelof.
Like, it kind of just looks like it's on the way up, though. That's all it looks like. It looks like the defense. Like, that guy's a big fridge, yeah. But last couple games, he's been looking a bit solid. You can't really get past him. Yeah, all right, you shouldn't have passed it that way. Whatever. I think that was a Dean Henderson fault anyway, yeah. But really, you can't get any worse than, whatever he was playing at while still on holiday mode and, like, bus case mode. He was on bus case mode. That's what he was. He was on bus case mode playing for Man United, yeah. And, like, he was thinking about whatever, blah blah blah. And you were playing terrible, bro, yeah. But now he looks a bit of a stone wall. A bit of a stone wall. Just like he's getting the blocks in. He had one of the fantastic games the other day, and I'm thinking, you know what? If these guys come good now at the back, and then Ollie can get the midfield sorted with Bruno and Pogba. I tell Pogba to leave anyway. I've had enough of his agent, bro. Yeah. But anyway, if Pogba stays and if Bruno get it, bro. Yeah. I'm thinking what? And these guys are just gonna come on form. Martial's hungry. This little Greenwood guy, bro. Yeah. All he wants is some nookie here and score some goals there. Give it to him.
I'm about to say, just let him have his gal and his goals. It's cool, isn't it? Like,
bro, who cares? Just let him have his gal and his goals, and he's all right. He's all right. And bro, Rashford, that touch yesterday, bro, I swear to you, almost broke my TV, bro. I was like, no way. I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking they're just going to keep getting better. They're just going to keep getting better whilst everyone else is a bit, do you know what I mean? So, look, I understand the personality that you're looking for. You're looking for that ruthless manager. That ruthless manager, that he satisfies your needs when he comes on an interview. And he satisfies your needs. You're like, yeah, I would like to play for this guy. But really, this guy that you're not really that fond of, what has he achieved so far being the way that he is? Yeah, and it's going to take a bit of time. Like, it's his first Champions League. Yeah, he got kicked out. First big time Champions League, and he got kicked out. All right, fine, no problem. But that really, in essence, might actually make it better for us, because them other guys now, them other teams, they're going to be concentrating full squads into that knockout stage.
I think it depends where we are. Again, like we say, if come February, when the Europa League starts, Man United are established in the top 4. And these are all if, buts, and maybes, but that's what football is, hypothetical until after the fact. If we're in a good position, say we're 5 points, 6 points clear in the top 4, you might find Ollie, or we're near a title race, so we're 2 points off top. You might find Ollie goes, you know what, we're going to use the shadow squad for these Europa League games, and we're going to go for the league and be fresh week in, week out. That could give you an advantage over a Liverpool or a Chelsea, who are in a situation where they're going to be playing again tough games midweek, tough games at the weekend. Tottenham are going to have that advantage as well, because I think if they're in a title race, they will put the Europa League. Teams only really take the Europa League seriously if they're not guaranteed a Champions League place. If your team is 20 points safe in a Champions League position in the league, I think they take the Europa League with a pinch of salt. It's only when you're sitting in like 5th stroke 4th and you don't quite know that you take it seriously. Lincoln here with Super Chat says, imagine Ollie and Slabhead with the trophy standing outside Old Trafford, Rashford getting his knighthood, but Pogba still getting it from top red. Listen, there's a part of me. Listen, I don't have me. I'm not getting on the hype train yet. We're having a bit of a laugh with this conversation, really. What I will say about winning the league, aside from me being happy as a United fan, what I would love is to see the reaction of the Trashford haters, the Pogba haters, the Bruno bashers, and the Ollie outers if we were to win it, and they all play key roles. Because all those individual groups would implode because it would be like, well, I hate Ollie, but he's won the league. That makes me look stupid. I hate Pogba. But yeah, he's been pivotal and important in winning us a league title. Bruno's just a tap-in merchant and a 5-pass merchant. Well, he's just been pivotal to us winning a league. Rashford, he's already won trophies. He just scores goals. What else has he done? What has he all the things they put these players down for? It would get rid of all of them. They would never have a leg to stand on again. You know what I mean? I was about to say something really offensive. I'm not going to say that. It would be amazing. But yeah, I just, the thing is, I don't want to think about it because then I get excited and it's
it's a big if in it. That's why when I was doing the math in my head, I was like, if we can get through this tough period, festive period, come out into the new year in January and still be there or thereabouts like we are now, then we will start that Fergie, that Ollie run. That great old Man United come good in January. I've heard it throughout the whole of the noughties, bruv, and I heard it even the last couple of years of Fergie years. That's the time Man United come good. And if it's anything that I know from when Ollie plays good football, from when Man United have been playing good football over the last 2 years, is when we've played that good football, it's reminiscent of the Man United of old. The way that we attack is just like, this is man. Bruv, I swear to you, when Jose was playing that trash football, that straight 29 bus football, I thought to myself, I tuned out. I was like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna put some Netflix on. You can't watch it. I couldn't watch it. It was dead. Why do you want to watch? I don't want to watch. I'm not used to that. But ever since Ollie come back, win, lose or draw, I'm watching. Because I'm like, you know what? This is kind of exciting. Yeah, we're 1-0 down. It's exciting. 2-0 down. It's exciting. Because we're still hitting them passes forward. Yeah, I'm frustrated, but I know we're going to hit one of them passes forward.
One thing,
and it might be a goal.
One thing I'm looking forward to seeing with Man United is the next game against Leeds. And it's not that you're not a better team than them, because you are a better team than them. It's more to do with their style of play. And I don't think Man United, from what I've seen, act well upon teams that pressure's quite high. In terms of AWB, he's not very good on the ball and things like that. So I'm interested to see how that game goes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and these are the moments. And there's a comment here from Ham. I just love how people don't understand things. He says, "Hi Terry, you said to eye test yesterday you can't use XGs and expected points because it's hypothetical. Today, Terry, if we get points here, if we hadn't dropped points there, if we blah blah blah. Yes, of course, football is hypothetical, but this is where you're missing the point, Ham. You're missing the point. Eye test is using hypothetical theory to say how good Man United actually are in reality. I'm using hypothetical to see where we're going to be. I assess Man United by facts. So if we win more games, if we go on a good run, we will be in an elevated position to say we're in a title race. I will say we're in a title race when we've elevated ourselves there. I'm not going to say we're in a title race because we might elevate ourselves. I don't understand. Do people not have brains? Hey, what's that? I can hear the clicking of the two brain cells knocking together thinking about that. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Listen to what it is I say. You can't assess someone on hypotheticals, but you can talk about if, buts, and maybes. If
the outcome is hypothetical, you can talk about hypotheticals. If the outcome is straight hard facts now, you can't use hypotheticals to prove a fact.
But we're going off trajectories here. Remember, I started my talk by saying, look, I've done a little quick bit of math as to where we'd be if we beat Sheffield United and if we can get through the hard bit. And then the last 2 years has shown that we come good in January. And prior to Van Gaal and Jose and that next guy that we're not even going to talk about.
And I think and I agree with you. And that's why the conversation is what it is. You're talking very much about, if we do these three things, we could put ourselves in a position to challenge for a title. That's very different from saying we're in a title race because we might do these three things. And that's what XGs and that's what the expected points table are. You're assessing a team based on a hypothetical, the potential outcome of. It's like saying how good a team is based on odds. The bookmakers say Man United are favourites, so that means they're the better team. Well, United don't work like that. Form has to be. The bookmakers always Man United have been awful on average for 8 years, but and our home form's awful. But if you notice how we're never the underdog at home. Because the bookmakers never do that. If they actually put the odds on what's going on in reality, we would not be the favourites in home matches right now because at home bad, and we would be the clear favourites in away games. but they don't do that. So you can't do it based on odds. You've got to do it based on the factual information that's in front of you.
And that's why that South African brother that came on, yeah, that's why what he was talking facts. I know people don't like it, yeah, and I know people saying, oh yeah, but is he gonna get that though, and whatever, blah. But he's talking straight facts. He's saying, look at the, all right, you wanna hammer on the negatives and say, oh, where's the progression really, yeah, but if you look at what his actual game plan is that he's tried to roll out, who he's tried to get, where he's tried to fill those positions, every manager makes a mistake with one signing. I think his one signing mistake, or maybe even 1.5, could have been the big fridge when he's off form, but I think he's all right. And Daniel James. I think Daniel James is a bit too, he gets mugged off the ball a bit too easily, and he can play fantastic when no one is on him, But apart from that, what that guy was saying was facts. He's like, look at the people that we're trying to get. If we can get them, give him one more season. I'm about time. Give him the time, because I love the football that he's playing. He's making us feel like Man United fans again. All of a sudden, we're in December, yeah, and we're talking about being up there with people. You people are not realizing your mindset. You're not crying like the Arsenal fans. I was watching Troops about an hour ago, yeah, and I'm thinking, this guy's crying. They're all crying. They're just like, no, this is a relegation battle, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, bruv, I like it, bruv. Yeah, you're going to be the next Leeds, bruv. We're not there. Look where we are. And look at Ollie's done that with the lack of resources. And imagine if he was just given 1 or 2 more. Maybe we get it in January. Maybe we get it in the summer. But give him the time. You can't flog 8 players, 9 players, half a team, more than half a team in 1 window, 2 windows.
Yo, chat to Inter Milan, and they'll say something different, fam.
Yeah, but I mean that's that China money. That's that coronavirus money.
So what you're just saying is you believe that Ollie is the right man to take you.
He's saying. That's what he's saying.
All right, is that okay? Okay, look, I also understand you man's point when you're saying he's not the right character. You bring in someone else to get more out of this squad. But I'm thinking, you know what? I want to do the same thing Man United should do with Ollie that Liverpool done with Klopp. And I know people keep blasting me every time I say this. They're like, don't compare Klopp and whatever. People seem to forget Klopp failed to even come close to his achievements in his final season at Dortmund. He fell off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he got to finals and he had this big streak of losing finals. Yeah, he won a title. He won a title. And he dethroned Bayern. Yeah. No problem during their transition period.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Guys, I've got to end the stream now because I've got some other things I've got to do.
Alfred, I'll keep it going, Terry. Don't worry about that. You got to do what you need to do, bro.
I've got to end the stream, bro. Gabriel and Alfie, thanks both for coming on. Definitely going to get you guys back on again. 2 great callers, and that's why we love using the StreamYard link, getting these man's face on here. Yes. I have a bit of breaking news as well. I think there's a new Kai in town. Kai Rooney just signed for Manchester United, Wayne Rooney's son. I'm up for putting a bet on the Chelsea fan that Kai Rooney scores a winning goal against a top 6 opponent before Kai Havertz does. only messing there, brother. Super chat here from D1 that says, I'm a firm believer of Ollie being better manager than Lampard and Arteta, and I'm a Chelsea fan, but kick of resources. But lack, maybe correct in there. What are you smoking? See, when people say lack of resources, they're not talking about the money that Man United have spent in the last 8 years. People, again, the reduction of what's being said. It's the planning, it's the decision makers, it's the football minds on the board, it's the support that goes in behind that. It's signing the right players as opposed to just spending money. Man United have spent big. If we would have spent correctly and had a cast iron plan and gone in the same direction for 8 years, having spent that money, we wouldn't be in a mess. We simply wouldn't. But we've wasted so much of it. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you all very, very much. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll